Hello everyone, my name is Derek. This is the Bourbon Table, and on the Bourbon Table, I review bourbons, and I also do bourbon hunting videos. On our bourbon hunting videos, I do something a little bit different than everyone else. I show every bottle and every price of every bourbon that I go hunting for. Today, however, we're going to do a review of this Elijah Craig 2026 PGA Commemorative Edition. It's something a little different. It's only released in 2026, and I'm going to review it. And I'll find out what the big deal is on this Commemorative Edition. And then also stick around to the end where I've got a bonus at the end where I'm going to actually compare it to the regular small batch and see if this is just kind of a marketing thing or if it's actually a different, hopefully even better version of Elijah Craig. So what makes this different from the small batch is it's 108 proof compared to the 94 proof. The mash bill is the same. It is 98% corn, 10% rye, 12% malted barley. It's a Heaven Hill product, and it's 108 proof because it commemorates the 108th PGA Championship. The reason it's kind of personal to me is because the tournament was held at the Aronimink Golf Course right down the road from me, about 45 minutes down the road in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. The other difference is that the barrels that were pulled for this bottle were pulled from Rickhouses N and S, standing for Newtown Square. So we'll see if that makes a difference as well. It sounds like marketing had a hand in this, and I'm sure they did. My hope is that it also made for better juice, and we'll find out. This bottle is not age stated, just like the small batch. It retails for $37. That's what I got it for. And that's just a few dollars more than the small batch, which is 94 proof. The other difference, aside from the label on the bottle, is they have a little gold emblem on the top, which you may or may not be able to see here, which says 2026 PGA Aronimink, which stands for the golf course that it is commemorating. And the neck tag says the same thing. So let's pour it. I'm going to put the small batch off to the side. We'll compare that at the end of the video, a little bonus content for you. So let's start off with the nose. Little pungent right out of the gate. Again, I just opened this. Let me let a little bit of this ethanol burn off. And again, it is 108 proof versus the 94 proof. So what I can say right away is it smells like the regular Elijah Craig turned up a notch or two. The 14 proof difference or 7% alcohol difference is really coming through. So I get vanilla, deep red berries. There's a bit of citrus on top, or maybe even mixed all the way through. Maybe like a grapefruit. Maybe that's the citrus that I'm smelling. Interestingly, aside from the vanilla, I don't get any caramel. I don't get any butterscotch. And this is a really attractive nose. It is a bit different than your typical bourbon nose without the caramel, without the butterscotch. Again, a little bit of vanilla, but mostly citrus with a fresh crack. That might change as it airs out a little bit, but right now it's very citrus, very berry, if you will. Very clean, sort of fresh. I really like that nose. All right, let's see what it has on the palate. All that translates onto the palate. That was my first sip, but all that translates onto the palate. I get the vanilla, I get the berries, I get the citrus. Let me go again. Can almost not really go with the first sip, especially on a fresh crack, because it's still a lot of ethanol in there. The nose is holding strong. Okay, this is very much the same. The only difference on the second sip is that first sip on a fresh crack, I got a bunch of ethanol. It came in hot. This second sip, not coming in hot. Wow. The third sip is where it's at. Entirely sweet, fresh, easy to sip. I like this a lot. I mean, 108 proof is really kind of a sweet spot for a lot of folks. I think it is for me. It's on the lower end of what I like. And what makes it great is it has a lot of punch to it in terms of flavor without a lot of heat. And somehow the Elijah Craig mash bill and the two Rickhouses that it pulled from really elevates the Elijah Craig, the standard mash bill profile, so that you get a lot more of it, while at the same time really not overdoing it with the heat. One more time. I'm enjoying this. I normally do 3, but I'm enjoying this, so I'll do a 4th. Now I'm getting a little bit of white grape on this. This is really good. It's not a spectacular 15-year, all that stuff, but this is a really good, potentially everyday drinker. They don't make any more, so if you can find it, great. I'm sure they'll do another one next year. Maybe it'll be 109 proof. But this is really good. I like this quite a bit, primarily I think because of the proof. And the finish is decently long. It's not extraordinarily long, but it's decently long. It keeps the sweetness, and I think, wow, yeah, keeps the sweetness and adds a little bit of spice to it, which is nice. So this is a really good bottle. All right, now before we get to the comparison, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. I'm shooting for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. My last video got a lot of subscribers. I really appreciate that. I'm closing in on 600 now. Love to get to 1,000. Now let's try and compare it against the everyday Shelfer small batch Elijah Craig at 94 proof. So 14 proof, 0.7% less. This one, as you can see, has been open for a while, so it has a little bit of an advantage there. But we'll see if it has an advantage on the palate. Let's start with the nose. Interesting. I don't get a whole lot of citrus or berry on this, but what I do get is I get a little bit of car tire, and I mean that in the best way. I really enjoy that smell. It's not a plastic smell, but it's like a new car tire smell. It's got a fresh and clean. And if, in fairness, it's probably very muted compared to the 108 proof of the 2026 PGA Commemorative bottle. But still, I enjoy it. All right, let's check the palate. Okay, so the palate has a decent amount of sweetness, not quite as much, but the palate on the small batch is much more vanilla. Vanilla is still strong, maybe even stronger, but the citrus is really dialed down. Yeah, the citrus is, I mean, I want to say a little bit, but almost not there at all. So it's the vanilla, the spice is still there on the finish. It's a shorter finish, no citrus at all compared to the 2026 Commemorative. And again, this may not be super fair because I tried the higher proof first. I should have gone the other way around. But I gotta say, the small batch is still, it smells great, it tastes great, which is oftentimes not the case. When you go higher proof, it often eclipses the lower proof to where it's even hard to tell at all. But I can tell you, after doing the higher proof, going to the lower proof, I would still drink this, and I still will drink this. This is really a nice flavor profile, a nice nose on this. Something you should have on your bar at 94 proof. You could probably sip it, although this would be great, really great in mixed drinks. It's a little bit higher than a lot of the 80 proofers or 84 proofers that go into mixed drinks. But I could sit here right now and really enjoy this pour. Okay, let me go back, double check. This should be interesting. Yep. The fruitiness is still there. The grapiness is still there. And that grapiness, the citrus, although the citrus now that it's been open, the citrus has taken a step back. The grapiness is still there and dominating the nose on this. Man, this is so good. It's definitely better than this. It's a little more money. It's a little more proof. That is predictable. But really right now, these are both two delicious glasses or bottles for different reasons. This is not just this turned up. The nose is, but the 2026 adds a strong berry, a strong citrus, where the small batch that's absent. I would like to come back to this in a few weeks and test it again just to see if some of that goes away. But man, where both of these could be a decent sipper, I think the 108 is going to be a better sipper. The flavor on the 108 is changing right in front of my palate from the first sip in a good way. It is changing, and I'm getting different flavor notes. Even the nose is changing. I will say that's a par for the course on any new bottle. So if you open up any new bottle, and that would probably be the case if I had a new bottle of Elijah Craig small batch, that would change. It may be harder to notice on a lower proof than a higher proof, but I really enjoy that change. It makes me want to just kind of sip on this all day. So really, in a comparison, we got two really good bottles. Which one do I prefer? I prefer this one as a sipper. I would like to try it in a mixed drink. 108 proof is high for a mixed drink, but I'd like to try it in a mixed drink just to see. The spice at the end could really, make a difference on a Manhattan. Maybe on an old fashioned. I don't know. This bottle, the 94, the everyday small batch, that's going to be great in a mixed drink. We know that. This tuned up could be better. I think it'll depend on the mixed drink, but I would like to try that. All right, so that's the review. Again, do me a favor, like, subscribe. Also, I have a Patreon account. You can check that in the link below. To support the channel, please sign up for that if it's something that you're interested in. I post articles in there about the bourbon industry and the community where you can kind of read up on that. I have a free tier if you're so inclined. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Derek. This is the Bourbon Table, and I'll see you on the next one.